So welcome everyone, Diana Hunter here, and it's my absolute pleasure and privilege to be introducing our very special guest speaker this morning, Sharon Whiteman. Now, Sharon was introduced to Manatech 22 years ago when the company first opened in Australia. And she has lived her heart and soul through this business, delivering the message of the nutritional technologies, the powerful nutritional technologies that this company have developed, and also the story of the lifestyle opportunity. Prior to this, Sharon had first-hand education with the Robert and Kim Kiyosaki team. You may have heard of them. They're international educators in finance and business. And Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the top-selling Rich Dad series. And she studied with them for almost a decade throughout the 90s. And that's where she learned the strategies of mindset and action and how to be financially literate. She's very passionate about making sure that others have this same opportunity. If you've been on our Saturday morning calls anytime in the last, I think it's about 18 years, you'll know that Sharon's a consummate educator and communicator and has provided business education via these weekly global conference calls and now webinars, interviewing hundreds of leading business educators since, 2003. There we have it. Sharon says, we all have to commit to making the world a better place. And she certainly lives that talk. Better wellness, better lifestyle, and a fulfilling purpose. And a home business with Manatech is the perfect choice. So thank you, Sharon. Thanks for being here. I'm going to sit back, take notes, and look forward to your presentation this morning.
Thank you so very much, Anna. That was very generous and kind of you. And yes, I am driven by contribution. My highest values are integrity and contribution. So it's definitely a privilege to be here with each and every one of you. And you know, my experience of being part of the Manatech community, whether you're witnessing this as someone taking a look at what we have to offer, or whether you're a long time or a new partner, that's what we do. We collaborate together, and we do in this company make the world a better place. And I think, you know, at times like this, there's no more important thing to do than to be following your own integrity and following things that work, even if the rhetoric around us is confusing. And definitely Manatech, something that you can stand behind and stand for, and their integrity it's unstoppable, really. And that's been my witness for the last, it'll be, I think, 23 years in November this year. So today we're actually moving away from us and Manatech. This is all about you. You know, what are you looking for in your life? Is there any gaps, you know, whether that be in finances, in health and wellness, in mission, in contribution, in being part of a community that has that integrity that we're talking about? So I'd invite you to consider. So now, whether you're watching this live here with us today or recording, a friend or someone, acquaintance has sent this to you because they thought this might resonate for you. The most important fact of today is what's right for you. You know, is there anything that you're desiring for in your life and you haven't found a way to get it, or you haven't found a vehicle or a strategy, or you've tried and you're frustrated right now because you haven't been able to achieve that? Some of the things listed on the screen right now are common for many of us, right? Some would rather have a better house. You know, they have a dream that's important to them, or, you know, they're doing okay, but they haven't really been able to take their kids on a vacation every year, or they're not happy in their career. You know I made that choice. Seems like ages ago now, 20 years or so. You know, my first career, I was a clinical nurse specialist in critical care. And while we do a great job in critical care, I started to not feel 100% in alignment with, you know, my values with that, my first career. And so I made a change. Maybe you just want to have a buffer, you know, some finances left in the bank, or security, or a safety net, or plan B. And I'm going to talk more about that because I'm really passionate about that. So whatever your situation, you know, you may have dreamed these things, but there's been things in the way. You know, whether you feel like you don't have enough time, not enough money, bad luck, fearful, doing something new, you know, I can't do this. I can put my hand up for that one. You know, I'd never envision myself as a business owner, but I definitely have envisioned myself as helping other people. And every step I take in this company, it's helping somebody, no matter how they choose to partner with Manatech. So how I was introduced to Manatech, I think it's an important story for all of us, is that I was unwell. And I think on reflection, I hadn't had any education in my mainstream nursing career in regards to a natural approach to health and well-being. I didn't understand diet more than the basic things. I didn't understand supplements outside of pharmaceuticals. Obviously, in critical care areas, pharmaceuticals are important, but in maintaining your bodily health, they're not. And it's not the only answer, I've learned, but I didn't know that then. And I had succumbed probably because I also, in the last couple positions I had, my second last position, I was an anesthetic sister, as you call it in Australia, in Open Heart Theatre at Prince Henry Hospital before it shut down. So I was exposed to a lot of anesthetic gases. I also lived in a very cold, damp and moldy house, which I didn't recognize the dangers of at that time. And over the following years, and then I got a job, my last job in nursing, last full-time job, I was the nursing unit manager of a chronic fatigue clinic. It was a pilot program in Manly, Sydney. And so in there, I learned a lot about natural health, right? And the threats on our well-being. And so following that job, I realized that I was declining in health in ways, as a nurse, you just do it, right? You put your needs aside and you just do that. And I realized I'd come sort of to day zero of being able to continue to do that. I was diagnosed with a lot of things, but big picture, it was a fatiguing illness, and I ended up on a disability pension. And I slept 12 hours. I'd get up for 2 or 3 and slept another 5 or 6 hours and be up for 2 or 3. So I was sleeping more of the day than I was awake. And I met some women at a dinner party, and it was a pivotal moment in my life. I can still remember the table. I can still remember looking around. And these women said, "You need to learn about these products. They're just coming to Australia." I was so skeptical. I thought, why am I hearing about a new technology for my well-being or my health challenge at a dinner party? If it was so amazing, I would already know about it. And I learned a lot from that personal arrogance of mine because I didn't know what I didn't know. And so they said, "Listen, no pressure, it's no pressure, but would you take a look at the information? If it makes sense to you, great. And if not, then there's no harm done." And I thought, well, I can't say no to that. It'd be a bit embarrassing. So I did. And I still remember sitting in my car, listening to a cassette tape and going, "Oh my God, this makes sense to me. If the foundation of my nutritional well-being in my cells isn't on track, how can I expect to be healthy?" And even if it wasn't the total solution to my current health challenge, it had to be part of the foundation of recovery. And so I took the leap. It was really scary because we didn't have income. Obviously, I was destabilized financially because of my health. And I never looked back, really. Within 6 weeks, people around me could see an improvement. And within 3 months, I could feel it. And within 18 months, I had, recovered to energy and vitality that I don't think I remembered experience. And I don't think because of my, family upbringing, we're just, some people might identify with this, just go to the doctor and do what they tell you to do. Because of my nursing career, I didn't realize I had a lot of power in my own hands to affect my daily well-being. And, I've never looked back in that. So today we're talking about the business with Manatech. And, you can take a look at this, take this information and integrate all or none of it. It's really up to you. But I know this education changed my life. And as Diana said, when she introduced me, I had the privilege again of working on a team. The first company was called Business Plus, and then Powwow Events. And we supported events all across Australia. So after nursing and after I recovered, this is where I ended up in doing financial education with Robert and Kim Kiyosaki and a whole team of their educators. And in that, I learned about residual income and about the way cash flow happens. So it's really, take a look at this and look at your situation. So Robert Kiyosaki is known for educating people on this cash flow quadrant, which was what you see on the bottom. So basically there's 4 quadrants, and there's a real delineation between the right side of those quadrants and the left side. So on the left, you have E for employment. So that's the majority of people. And then you have self-employed people, and that would include doctors, lawyers, accountants, small business, sole traders kind of thing. And 90% of people on the planet live on that side of the quadrant, and they control or have charge of 10% of global wealth. So basically, whether you're an employee to a company or whether you're self-employed, you're trading time for money. Now that there's absolutely no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. If, for people that are passionate and happy, that's fantastic. The key that Kiyosaki would educate, and, more educators following his, he is one of the founders of teaching everyday people what they could do to change their financial situation. But the key is to save more than you earn. Whatever you earn, save some of it and do something good with that. So do that as an investment. There's ways you can still be very financially secure. And I did that following Kiyosaki with my partner. We developed a real estate portfolio. We still worked, and we made sure that we left some of that money over that we had for investing. And that could be something for our future. Now, on the right side of this quadrant are business owners. And for this definitions, that's big business, like the employees of 500 or more. And they have the ability to leverage their income, don't they? So that we just need to look at the news headlines these days to see the amount of money some of these big businesses are making and controlling. And then the bottom is investor. So they invest their money and making their money work for them. So, and again, you can see, sadly, this is only 10% of people on the planet, but they control 90% of global wealth. Through this kind of education, if this is your first entry to this kind of education, you can take this and make a difference in your life if you want to. It takes education, it takes evaluating risks, it makes choosing something that's right and resonates for you within your values. The other important thing on this slide is even side gigs like Uber, Airbnb, and Amazon. People are developing extra income into the household using those, but they're not leveraged income in that. We'll talk about this in that when it's a second job, right? It's a part-time job. And when you're not working, it doesn't bring you income. Whereas on the right-hand side, if you understand leveraged income, you're taking advantage of compounding and leveraged income. So and we'll talk about that more in the next slide. So, and this is a quote, it's quite lofty. It might seem unusual, but if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work for the rest of your life. And that's Warren Buffett. And that's true. Every people can take charge of that and create that in their lives. So I have another comment about compounding, and this is really brought home for me by my friend and colleague, Kelly. And you see on the left hand, we all know about compounding interest on credit card debt. Most of us have experienced that at one time in our life, or on our mortgage, right? So that that interest rate compounds, and it gets more if you don't pay back more than it's correct. Whereas positive compounding, like in a leveraged income, what we're about to talk about, is an asset. So that's the good news about compounding. So you can either work for you or be challenged by it. And basically, it's about education and then making a choice, understanding the value of leveraged income. So if you think about leveraged income, 500, say you chose to partner with us in business, or you have another leveraged income business, and you get an income of 500 to 700 a month. And people would say, oh, that's nothing. Why would you do all this work to earn that? But if you think of that income coming every month, whether you're working or not, because you did the initial work and you assisted somebody to partner either in business or mission or for health in our business, then that 507, you would need to have 100,000 in the bank in order to be earning that as interest. So don't dismiss low level, what you might consider low level residual income. How many families you look at today, if they had an extra 500 to 700 coming in a month, like the stats show, it would stop some bankruptcies, right? Or it could help somebody with that, struggling with a car payment or school fees or family holiday. $1,000 a month is the equivalent of 200,000 at 5% interest. So that's a mortgage payment for some people, or support for a mortgage payment. Isn't that awesome? So The best leveraged income I'm proposing to you is this kind of business where you partner with a company and they do everything on that 58% there. So 41 to 42% of our profit in the company goes towards paying us to be the ambassadors in the field, educating, supporting, connecting with people and helping them see what we have, the benefits of that, and helping them make a fully informed decision of whether that's right for them right now in their life. The company does the research and development, the quality assurance, the manufacturing, the distribution, all the hard stuff. It's like it's like the headaches of a regular business taking it over for them, and you just get the good news. You get to talk to people and help people make a decision. Not that saying we don't have rough days. There's the rough days in any new important adventure that you choose, but basically this is it in a nutshell. It's giving the power of financial prosperity at whatever level that is, from 500 to infinity, to everyday people. So a home business, they're powerful and affordable. Globally, 100 million people are involved in direct selling, about 182 billion in annual sales. It's a few years now, but that's significant. It's like this, if people tell you that this is nothing or it's insignificant, this is a significant market. In Australia, 20% of the Australian natural healthcare market is direct sales or network marketed. 10% of cosmetics. Asia Pacific region represents 45% of all global sales. This is a profession. Now, where we get a bad rap is where, and I can remember, I can put my hand up for this when I first started, is where we don't have education and we're so passionate or excited or whatever, we sort of go in for a sale as opposed to really connecting with person and finding out what's missing for them, what are they looking for, and then seeing whether we do or we don't have something that's a match for that gap in their life. So Mannatech, why would you choose Mannatech? Well, people are looking for wellness right now, and if I had an hour to talk to you about our technology, people seriously are praying for what we have right now in this scary health world at the moment. Income, same thing. How many people have been destabilized by the current global pandemic and the crisis that's everywhere? And purpose. The mental health of our society right now is really impacted. And when you have shocks like what we've experienced in the last year and a half, people start to reevaluate their life, don't they? They start to think about, what am I here for? What I'm doing? Is this what I wish I was doing? And I think that's a really important time to be available to have these, authentic conversations with people and say, there is something really good we could be doing together. So we've got a broad range. We're not going to talk about the technology today, but no matter what your passion is, there's a whole range for weight and fitness, and it's healthy and it's health sustaining and it's safe and it works, same as our skincare. Nobody ever knows that I'm turning 64 in a couple of days. Like nobody ever guesses that I'm 64. And not only do I credit that to 20 plus years of nutritional glycans in my cells, but also this skincare that is just, it's a secret. Don't tell anybody I use it, and actually we've moved out of more of the home living ones right now, but I need to update this slide. But the foundation of all of that is our exclusive nutritional glycan technology. And we do have Dr. Nugent coming to talk to us about that. And, he's the best ambassador for our technology. There's nothing to lose. We have 100% money back guarantee within 90 days. People can try it, and if they don't like it, there's no question asked. And there's nobody that can match. So fancy if you had a residual income business that has a company with integrity, that you could work in your own hours and to the degree of your goals and nobody's going to make you do anything more than what's right for you. And you have the opportunity to represent the #1 world's best aloe project or product. I mean, it's a match made in heaven, really. We just a bit more about the company. We were founded in 1994. We're in 26 markets. We've got multiple patents. We have lots of accolades from a business perspective. We're publicly traded, which in business has pros and cons, but for people taking a look at us, it means everything's transparent. And we are at the very foundation, at the very core of who we are, is we're a science company. And that sets us apart, not only our aloe technology, but our commitment to efficacy and proof of safety and quality assurance. So we've got quality assurance because it's interesting when you look back on events and you see what happens. Our company, the founders, which was Ray Robbins and Sam Castor and Bill McAnally. Well, Bill McAnally was a pharmaceutical scientist. So we started out our nutritional company with pharmaceutical quality everything, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes a lot of nutrition companies are started up by an entrepreneur, and they actually don't have the regulatory for dietary supplements, while they're tight in various markets around the world, they don't have to prove the kind of efficacy and quality assurance that we have as just a given in our company. Let's talk about the income a little bit. This is a bit of a crowded slide, so we'll just walk through it slowly. But ultimately, if you go, this is making sense to me, and you've taken a look at the information, you're connected with the person who's introduced this to you, and they're answering your questions authentically, and they have someone to refer you to, which, sometimes that's in the same country or the same locality, or sometimes that's a long distance thing. And definitely, we're always here every Saturday morning to assist you with that as well. So the first step is that you commit and you develop yourself what we call as a business unit. There's a few different names for it, but basically you're wanting to create 500, it's PPV, it doesn't matter, it just means volume of product coming into your business. And you can see as you get 200 or more or 500 more here on the top right here, meaning 2 active customers take your technology or 5, the percentage payout increases. So you don't really need to understand the numbers, but just the steps are: you start a business unit, you help with the team that started you, you introduce them with the education that we have through, brochures, whatever's right for that person. You really need to know whether they prefer to listen or watch or meet somebody, or they like a story, or they like the science. And we teach you how to do that at every step of the way. Step 2, you over time find 2 people who also want to partner with the company for income. And now, whether that's to help, it doesn't matter why. If they want to help people, or they just think everybody needs to know about this aloe product, I had this result, or like like me, when I started to feel so much better, and I was power walking after being in that fatiguing place, I thought everybody needs to know about this. And poor people in the beginning of my career that ran into me. But some of those poor people are still here today, 20 some years. And every time they order, I still get a little bit of a thank you in my bank account. So the next step is find someone like that, someone like me, or someone, hopefully someone way better, and you partner with them. So you're going to want to help someone else do the exact same thing. So you partner with 2 people that want to come or want to help people, or want to be about something that's about ethics, and you go from there, and you help them do the same thing that you've just done, was create your 500 PPV business unit. And as you can see on the right, there's different kind of bonuses that get triggered, but it gradually increases as you achieve. And you don't need to know them. You don't need to understand this. You just need to follow those units, do what your coach, or, and if you don't have a coach, that's possible. You might have just found this and your coach might have decided, I don't want to do this anymore, and you're still there. There's lots of places to handle that. Same thing. Step 3, you help 2 others. Step 4, then you're helping people. Everybody just replicate those same steps of making a business unit, helping people with their income, with their health, with their vision, with their happiness, because they want to be in, away from this world where there's so many challenges right now. So by the time you get down to here, that's where is a silver executive, we call it. We have ranks, goals. And to me, I've always been grateful for that, because they're goalposts to achieve. Because if you go out tomorrow and you start, your own sole trader business, you're going to mow lawns or whatever, or you're going to start a painting thing, or whatever the small business is, do you think you have somebody over your shoulder offering you little treats if you reach certain volume? No, you're completely have to drive yourself. Whereas this, it's like you're in partnership with somebody who really has your best interest in mind. And if you go for these goals, it's creating you a significant solid residual income. So as that continues, you can see that it's exponential. And this is exactly that first slide about compounding effect, where my friend Kelly pointed out to me that credit cards are negative compounding. Residual income is positive compounding. It's usually only available to the rich, but here it is made available to everyday people at you can start this business for $50, for goodness sake. That's just unheard of. And if you have the drive and that's your goal, you could be a top income earner with a $50 investment. You can't get better than that, really. Oops. So I do need to say that those income, we don't make any claims or that you can everybody can achieve this. It does require persistence. For me, it required a lot of personal development because I didn't have the self-belief. And it requires effort. And you sometimes, yes, you can do it in your own time, but you have to do it. You have to do it all the time, consistently. If your own time is evenings, then it's like you put the effort in for the same number of evenings. So, we don't promise on income, but we promise if you put the work in and you do the personal development and do the training and show up, you can create the income. The other thing is to know is that the amazing news is that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So we have events, and right now they've turned virtual, which has pros and cons. Like you could always hear us if you're here at the beginning of our call, missing seeing each other because we've got so many great friends in this community. However, it's now our events are available to anybody and at a very low cost, further leveling the playing field, in my opinion. Anybody can get a phone or a computer and catch onto a Zoom education and be part of the whole education and training. We have extensive training. Your team will have some, the company has some. I started to feel like I need to do my own thing. And, I had a great start in this company, but then I started to do, and so we created our own and we've gone on to do that. And or you can partner with another team. There's so many ways, but there's training included, and you don't need to know everything when you start. There's lots, you do need to feed your brain, feed your mind, because I'd say, this is just a rough estimate, but I'd estimate that 90% of us don't always enter this business with 100% positive every day. But that can be changed. And you know what? I learned a lot about that by being in this business, and a lot about how the power I have over to control my thoughts and how that affects me every single day. And that's life's giving, isn't it? To have that education and mentoring. So you're the person that brings you in, or the team above them, and failing that, because I want to include everybody here. If something had gone catastrophically wrong with, say, the people that have brought you in or upline from that, you've got a whole company here to mentor you and to have your back, and you just need to show up. And that sounds possibly an exaggeration, but it's not. It's true. You need to show up at the places where they're training and offering it to anyone, and say, I'm lonely, I need a partner. I found all kinds of partners that aren't in my business, and we back each other up as if we are. You don't find that in other businesses out there. The other thing, if it can't, it probably sounds like it couldn't get better than that, but I'm so proud to be part of a social entrepreneurial company. So that means that every single sale in our company has a garnished amount that goes to help feed a child somewhere in the world that's in need. So I know there's a lot of causes. Our cause is malnourished children, and that's increasing, isn't it, in the instability of our globe. So little aura on the left, you can see there's no question of these two pictures of the change in these children from adding nutrition. So some kids are getting food that's not nutrient dense, right? So even in Western countries, there's feeding support by our company in sort of financially disadvantaged area of the US or other Western countries. But we also know Africa and Asia and Indonesia, there's a lot of countries where kids, they don't have access to food, and there's a lot of loss of parents. So there's a lot of orphans. And that's where our donations go. And, I'll be having Sarah on this call soon, who's the leads this charity, the Mission M5N Foundation it is. And the stories that she tells of the difference we make to make money for us, to give our body nutrition. Every step we take is feeding a child somewhere in the world who wouldn't get help without us. I don't know, brings me to tears even thinking about it. So does this work? You're asking me that, this sounds too good to be true. Does this work? Well, it absolutely does. It doesn't matter what goal for you on this picture, whether you want family, contribution, wealth, freedom, relaxation, just a lift up to make your life a little bit easier with the monthly bills, that's available with this. And if it, this does work if you work. So if this is making sense to you, but so it is super easy. You can be a partner with us as an associate. So it's very cheap, under $100, under $50. and it provides you everything you need to get started. Then there's a preferred customer. You say, listen, you know what, that sounds good, but it's not right for me to change my income, or I'm doing fine income wise, and be a preferred customer, because everybody needs this technology in their body. You can't get it anywhere else. It's a necessary nutrient, the glycans, and you thrive. You watch. I've just had somebody come to me who was had started Manitech a long time ago, like when we started, and then she lost her way, and she said, listen, I just forgot about it. Now she's aging a little bit, and she says, I need to get back on these products. Some hormone things that happen for us women. And within a week, she says, oh God, I don't know how I ever stopped these. She says, I can start to feel that well-being come back. And she started to feel more in charge of her well-being, and that's available to you. Or you can just be a referrer. So, I've had a lot of things happen in my life. After I had that big recovery, I had a bad run-in with a tick up here on the Sunshine Coast, and I developed full-blown Lyme disease in a country that doesn't recognize it and who has a health policy failure. So I've been very, you might notice that I'm quite loyal. Once I commit to something and I believe in it, you can't get rid of me. So I'm here in Manitech. And even though I can't do Manitech full time right now, because I'm trying to make sure my children get health care, and I'm working to get the government to understand what they're not seeing, and that's drawn me away, I'll never stop committing to this, because it's the right thing to do. So this is my life on my terms. Sadly, it's not my full-time focus right now, and I feel conflicted about that. But am I blessed with it? Does my income come in every month anyway? Has it supported all my products and extra stuff for my family for 20 some years? It has. There isn't anything else that can do that for you. So, the purpose of life is to lead a life of purpose. I live that every day to the best of my ability. It's my commitment, and I invite you to join us. That's not just a quote from Richard Branson. Someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes, and then learn how to do it later. And definitely, I 100% hand on heart, if it resonates for you, just jump in, say yes, partner with the person who introduced this to you, and we'll look forward to welcoming you future on these calls. So Diana, that's it for me. Thank you very much. I'll just get out of my screen there. And I want to say thank you to everyone here. Thank you for being here. Make sure I'll get it up probably depending on my lovely bandwidth, by Monday onto YouTube, and share away, use it to see how it suits you. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for being here.
Muted there. Thank you, Sharon. I know that's benefited everyone that's attended. It's such meaty content for the value and the purpose of being involved in the lifestyle option of Manitech. I'm not sure if you wanted me to share my story today, or
yeah, that'd be good, Diana. I just got on a roll and I got in my groove of being passionate. But yeah, I did invite Diana and Gary to share their stories, and that does actually help a lot of people to hear different perspectives. So Diana, sure. And then Gary, can you come in and back me up as well?
I'd be happy to. And some of you know that I've also been involved from the very beginning, and that's because Sharon and I had been close friends for 20 years before she was introduced to Manitech. And she knew that I'd had a 15-year significant health challenge, and she'd heard about this, could see this was something that might help, and so recommended it to me. And I think, for me, that's a really important message, that it can be a friend, a family member, and it can even be someone you've never met before that suggests you take a look. And so it may not be a scientist or a doctor or a naturopath delivering the message. These products, the word gets out through people who know people. And so I took a look, and long story short, I could see the science of this was something different. I tried many technologies. Western medicine had nothing for me over about a 15-year period, and nothing had got me over the rise. And in the end, these products were the answer for me. And I began to recover and continue to recover. And so as it so happened, I just moved to regional Queensland about a year prior to this. And it was obvious to me really quickly that I wasn't going to be able to rely on the local environment for the kind of income and lifestyle that I desired. And so when I got these results, I'd also had secured some part-time employment, and I was someone who always put 100% of who I am into what I do. And I had the rug pulled on my job in a very underhanded way, but this all came together to be a defining moment for me, because I thought that's the last time I'm putting all of who I am, my talents, my energy and my time into someone else's business. I'm going to reserve some of that for me and my future. And it was that time I jumped both feet in. And, you know, with any new career or new venture that you're involved in, there's a learning curve, isn't there? And so I jumped in, I learned the necessary skills. I attended all the trainings. Sharon mentioned there about the value of the trainings, and the majority of these trainings that are top level business training, top level nutrition training are for free. And that's one of the advantages. And one of the advantages that Robert Kiyosaki would say about this style of business is it delivers training that moves us into the mindset of a business person. And that's what happened to me. And so I built this business, and I built it to a full-time income, working part-time. I've continued part-time. I have other career interests, and but it's delivered an income into my household every month for the last, well, at least 20 years now. And, you know, COVID hit last year. Couple of my streams of income were cut off at the knees because of COVID, but my Manatech income continued. And the message comes home again that this residual income that keeps delivering every month. In fact, my income went up during COVID. But, you know, what's important to me is to have purpose in what I do. And I'm continually contributing options for well-being, I guess, or financial well-being into people's lives. And that's a core value for me in this business. The other core value is the community we're part of. Many of our community have joined us for this call today. Like-minded people whose interest is not only thriving in their own world, but supporting me in thriving in mine. It's an inbuilt value within our business structure. And I love that. The contribution to the children, and put my head on the pillow at night and know the difference I've made, not only in my life and the people I work with. You know, I have people send me Christmas cards, clients send me Christmas cards because of the difference I've been able to deliver into their life. And those are the kind of rewards that, you know, are of value to me. And as well as contributing to the children, you know, in the broader global community. And I just love the lifestyle freedom. I have more. You have to put the hours in, the focus in, as Sharon said, long term. But I have more lifestyle freedom in how I spend, when I spend my time, and how I spend my time. And I love what I do. So I'll leave it there, because I know Gary has some you know, a powerful story to share as well. But thanks, Sharon, for giving me the chance to share mine.
My pleasure, Dana. I just got in the stream of consciousness there. Carried on. Gary, thank you. Gary's got a really amazing story, and quite different than Dana's mine. So it's good to have this available as well.
Yes, hi everyone. Well done, Sharon and Diana, as usual. Excellent presentation. You can hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, my story's different because I didn't have any health challenges or anything. It was really more to do with the business side of joining Manatech. And really it relates to the fact that I decided in my life very, very early on that I was pretty much unemployable. I just don't like being told what to do. And I think the truth is that there are millions and millions of people out there who do jobs that they hate. Maybe they don't hate them, but you know, they drag themselves out of bed in the morning. Oh, I've got to go to work again. And the only reason they're doing that job is because they have to have income to survive in the modern world. You know, you've got to have an income somehow. So lots and lots of people have to work with people they don't particularly like, doing a job they don't particularly like. If they had choice, they wouldn't do it. And that wasn't for me. I wanted to do something that I loved, and I wanted to have my own business for as long as I can remember. So I did do that. At the age of 24, I started my own business, which was, okay, it was a skydiving business. It was the first commercial tandem skydiving operation in Europe, because I was in love with skydiving. I wanted to do something that I loved, which most people don't get to do. So yeah, I started the business. I put everything I had into it, and it was fantastic. I ran that business for, you know, nearly 20 years, and it was really a great business, a lot of fun. I got to do over 10,000 skydives, taught over 1,000 people to be solo skydivers. But now I just want to describe to you, because, okay, it was a skydiving business, but I think you'll be able to relate this to a lot of businesses. I mean, you look around you, there's so many businesses around you that you don't really think every day what's going on behind the scenes. And I can describe to you with my skydiving business the antithesis of what I enjoy today with Manatech, and how there were these sort of major turning points in understanding. And I just want you to imagine this. I've got 20, 30 people booked in to do their tandem skydive in a group at the weekend. I've got the pilots, the staff, all the overheads that are still there, whatever happens. And on Thursday, I get a phone call and they say, oh, look, you know, so-and-so's, it's their birthday, but they're not well, they're sick. So would it be all right if we postponed our group of 20 from the weekend? And of course, you're on the phone, you go, yeah, of course, that's no problem. Yeah, we can reschedule you, no problem. You put the phone down. Now you've got to go and explain to all your staff that you haven't got any work for the weekend. I mean, it still gives me a lump in my throat now, that feeling in my stomach of, oh my God, there's $10,000, $20,000 just gone down the toilet for that weekend. And that's the antithesis of residual income. Opening the curtains on a Saturday morning, and like today, it's pouring down with rain. So that rather than a residual steady income, it's just a roller coaster of income. 1 minute you're doing okay, the next minute, you know, it's raining and you've got no income. You still got the overheads, and they're massive. The overheads, I mean, in most businesses, skydiving in particular, fuel, aircraft, all those sorts of things, that's your conventional business, is massive overheads, a roller coaster of income. And, you know, one day I'm going, oh, this is stress. It's stress every week. And because you own the business, there was no one to ring up. There was no training. There was no support team there. It was sort of running the whole thing by the seat of your pants every week. And one day I had a lady, and no time freedom. When everyone had Monday off, you were up to your ears in invoices and paying bills and fuel bills and all that sort of thing. So one day a lady that worked for me said, have you heard of network marketing? And even though I had an honours degree in marketing, never heard of it. So open mind, that was the thing. I had an open mind, and I started studying the industry of network marketing, and suddenly all these things that I had big red crosses against in my conventional S quadrant business. And one of those books was, of course, Sharon, we always go on about it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you haven't read it, go and get it and read it, because the pennies were dropping like you couldn't imagine. All the ticks that were there with a network marketing business that I didn't have with my conventional business. time freedom, residual income, building a team that Manatech or were going to pay. I didn't have to pay them. Manatech were going to pay them. So, you know, building that team, having a steady income, having the time freedom to get up every day and do whatever you wanted. They were the things that drove me into that business. And it took me a long time to find Manatech. And yes, I've been in Manatech as long as Sharon, and it's enabled my wife and I to live our dream lives, really. We live off the grid. We grow all our own food, pretty much 100% of our own power. That was our dream lifestyle. Don't have all the headaches of employees every day now and massive overheads. The overheads are just minuscule. I mean, Sharon talked about being able to start a business for $50. Think about what you've got to spend to start a skydiving business. It's just, your life's on the line. So if you haven't really cottoned on to the benefits that a network marketing business provides, you've got to read these books. The Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. Brilliant book. It's only a small book, but in that small book is the answer for most people. And there's business owners all around you who's going through the same struggles and stresses that I went through. And, you know, Manatech stood the test of time. I've been paid every single month for the last 22 years without fail. I've never had to chase the money. That's not the case in conventional business. I've got lots of friends who lost everything because even though they got the business, they never got paid. And their business went down the tubes because they had a huge client who didn't pay them or went bust or something. You know, we don't have that. And the community, the training, the support, all these are big, big green ticks that enable a person, regardless of their education, regardless of their background, regardless of all those things, anyone can be successful as long as they work out what their why is, what their dream life is. Maybe it's not going to be living off the grid and growing your own food and being a sort of weirdo recluse like I am, but I'm run a global business from the middle of nowhere, looking out and I can see about 30 Ks and can't see another house. And, you know, that's just an amazing opportunity to be able to do that with a business that's global. Got people in countries all over the world in my team who've become lifelong friends. And it's just an amazing business model. We got products that are like no other and have patented. That's a business person's dream come true because this basically means there's no real competition. So, if you haven't already cottoned on to this, get busy.
Gary, thank you so very much.
Yourself.
It's such a powerful business perspective that you
you won't find a better business than Manatech.
Yeah. So everybody, God bless you all. Thank you very much for being here with us. Next week, again, and for those of you already partnered with Manatech, we have a big incentive on right now. We're just for doing a little bit more and making concerted effort in your business, you can win a free holiday or earn a free holiday, we like to say. So, and that's our focus for our call. So next week we'll have Dr. Nugent. So the purpose here is to invite and share this content because we're here to help you. So God bless you. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody. See you next week. Bye.